Have you ever stood before a mountain so steep that climbing it seemed impossible? Have you faced a dream so grand that achieving it felt beyond your reach? This is the common human experience. To encounter barriers that appear insurmountable, and to feel the weight of our own limitations. Yet, within the practice of Nichiren Buddhism lies a profound truth. What seems impossible can become possible through the power of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. The phrase, changing impossibility to possibility, embodies the essence of human revolution, the fundamental transformation that occurs when we tap into our Buddha nature. This transformation isn't just about personal achievement. It ripples outward, affecting everyone around us. As Nichiren Daishonin writes in his letter, On Attaining Buddhahood in This Lifetime, if you wish to free yourself from the sufferings of birth and death you have endured since time without beginning, and to attain without fail unsurpassed enlightenment in this lifetime, you must perceive the mystic truth that is originally inherent in all living beings. This mystic truth, our Buddha nature, contains limitless potential. When we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, we are essentially calling forth this potential, awakening it from dormancy. The Lotus Sutra teaches that all people possess the Buddha nature regardless of their current circumstances or past actions. This means that everyone has the capacity to transform their life, to make the impossible possible. Often we create our own limitations. We decide something is impossible before we even try. Our minds become the prison that confines us. Nichiren addressed this when he stated, "The heart is the king of the six sense organs, and the six sense organs are its subjects. When the heart is gloomy, the six sense organs are closed. When the heart is joyful, the six sense organs are open. When we believe something is impossible, our senses close to possibilities. We fail to see opportunities, to hear encouragement, to feel hope." This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but a faith rooted in action and evidence. Nichiren Buddhism encourages us to test the teachings in our daily lives, to prove their validity through actual experience. When we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with determination and take action based on that chanting, we begin to see changes, sometimes subtle, sometimes dramatic, that show us the power of this practice. Consider the story of a woman who had been told she would never walk again after a severe accident. Medical experts had declared her condition impossible to overcome. Yet, through her consistent practice of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, coupled with determined rehabilitation efforts, she gradually regained movement. Step by step, she defied the impossible diagnosis until she was walking again. Her doctors called it a miracle, but she understood it as the natural outcome of tapping into her Buddha nature. Nichiren teaches us that the Lotus Sutra is like a sword that cuts through illusion. He writes, "The 5 characters of Myoho Renge Kyo do not represent the sutra text, nor are they its meaning. They are nothing other than the intent of the entire sutra. The Lotus Sutra is a sword. This sword can cut through the illusion of impossibility, revealing the truth of our boundless potential. But wielding this sword requires courage. As Nichiren warns in his letter, Reply to Kyo, a coward cannot have any of his prayers answered, and the mighty sword of the Lotus Sutra must be wielded by one courageous in faith. Courage doesn't mean absence of fear. It means taking action despite fear. It means chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo even when doubt creeps in, taking steps toward your goal even when the path isn't clear. Think about water. Water is soft, yielding, yet over time it can wear away the hardest stone. Similarly, our consistent practice of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo may not produce immediate results, but over time, it erodes the barriers of impossibility. The water doesn't question whether it can shape the stone. It simply continues to flow. We too must flow with our practice, trusting in the process. The Lotus Sutra illustrates this principle through the parable of the burning house. In this story, children are playing inside a burning house, unaware of their danger. Their father, unable to convince them to leave, promises them wonderful toys outside. The children, excited by the promise, rush out to safety. Like those children, we sometimes need to be lured away from our limiting beliefs by the promise of something better. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo is that promise a call to our higher selves, our Buddha nature. Many people approach their goals through intellectual analysis alone. They calculate probabilities, weigh risks, and often conclude that certain dreams are unrealistic. While practical thinking has its place, Relying solely on intellectual assessment can blind us to possibilities beyond our current understanding. Nichiren Daishonin tells us, if you only chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, then what offense could fail to be eradicated? What blessing could fail to come? This is the truth, and it is of great profundity. You should believe and accept it. This doesn't mean abandoning reason. Rather, it suggests expanding our concept of what's reasonable by including the wisdom that comes from faith. When we chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, we align ourselves with the fundamental law of the universe. This alignment opens doors we might never have noticed through intellectual analysis alone. The practice of changing impossibility to possibility isn't just about achieving personal goals. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness with all life. As the Lotus Sutra teaches, all phenomena are manifestations of the mystic law. Nothing exists in isolation. When we transform our own lives, we inevitably affect those around us. Our victories inspire others. Our growth creates ripples that extend far beyond our immediate circle. Consider the butterfly effect from chaos theory, which suggests that a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil can set off a tornado in Texas. Similarly, when we overcome what seemed impossible in our own lives, we create vibrations that can help others do the same. This is why personal transformation is also social transformation. When we make the impossible possible for ourselves, we expand what's possible for humanity. Nichiren writes in the strategy of the Lotus Sutra, when you face a mirror and bow, the image in the mirror bows back to you. Similarly, when you put your palms together in reverence to Myoho Renge-kyo, Myoho Renge-kyo will respectfully put its palms together to you. This beautiful metaphor illustrates how our actions toward the mystic law create a reciprocal relationship. When we show faith in our ability to achieve the impossible, the universe responds in kind. But this relationship requires sustained effort. In The Three Kinds of Treasure, Nichiren states, exert yourself in the two ways of practice and study. Without practice and study, there can be no Buddhism. Practice here refers to chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo and taking action based on that chanting. Study means learning the teachings and applying them to our daily lives. Together, they form the foundation for changing impossibility to possibility. Many people give up too soon. They chant for a while, take some action, but when immediate results don't appear, they conclude that the goal is indeed impossible. This is like planting a seed, watering it once, and then digging it up to see if it's growing. Seeds need consistent care over time. Similarly, our practice needs consistency and patience. The changes may be happening beneath the surface before they become visible. The Tiantai school of Buddhism, which influenced Nichiren's teachings, offers the concept of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. This profound principle suggests that within each moment, all possibilities exist. Each instant contains the potential for radical transformation. When we chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, we tap into this potential, opening ourselves to possibilities that our limited thinking had previously denied. Consider the lotus flower, which gives its name to the Lotus Sutra. This remarkable plant grows in muddy swamps, yet produces beautiful, pristine blossoms. The mud doesn't prevent its blooming. In fact, the lotus transforms the nutrients from the mud into its magnificent flowers. Similarly, our challenges and obstacles, the mud of our lives, contain the nutrients for our growth and transformation. Through chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, we can transform even the muddiest circumstances into a beautiful blooming of our potential. Nichiren writes in The Opening of the Eyes, there should be no discrimination among those who propagate the 5 characters of Myoho Renge-kyo in the latter day of the law, be they men or women. Were they not bodhisattvas of the earth, they could not chant the Daimoku. This passage reminds us that everyone has the capacity to embody the bodhisattva spirit, to make the impossible possible not just for themselves but for others as well. This brings us to an essential point. Changing impossibility to possibility isn't just about personal achievement. It's about contributing to the happiness of all beings. The Buddhist concept of Kosen Rufu world peace through individual happiness reminds us that our personal transformation is meant to serve a larger purpose. When we overcome our own limitations, we become better equipped to help others overcome theirs. In Winter Always Turns to Spring, Nichiren offers this encouragement. Winter always turns to spring. Never, from ancient times on, has anyone heard or seen of winter turning back to autumn. Nor have we ever heard of a winter that never ended. This beautiful metaphor reminds us that change is the nature of life. What seems impossible, like spring emerging from the depths of winter, is actually the natural order. Our Buddha nature is like that spring, always pushing to emerge, always striving toward growth and flowering. The practice of changing impossibility to possibility requires what Buddhism calls right effort. This means applying ourselves wholeheartedly to our goals without being attached to specific outcomes. Paradoxically, when we focus more on giving our best effort than on achieving particular results, we often accomplish more than we thought possible. The Lotus Sutra teaches that Buddha wisdom is vast and profound, beyond our limited conceptions. When we align with this wisdom through chanting, we access solutions we couldn't have imagined. Shakyamuni Buddha himself demonstrated the principle of changing impossibility to possibility. Born a prince, he was told it was impossible to escape the cycle of birth and death. Yet through his determined practice, he attained enlightenment, proving that what seemed impossible was actually achievable. Nichiren followed this example, facing exile, attempted execution, and harsh persecution, yet never abandoning his mission to spread the mystic law. These examples remind us that the path to making the impossible possible often involves overcoming significant obstacles. When we face our own mountains of impossibility, we can draw strength from these examples. We can remember Nichiren's words, "The journey from Kamakura to Kyoto takes 12 days. If you travel for 11 but stop with only 1 day remaining, how can you admire the moon over the capital?" This encourages us to persevere until the end, to not give up when we're on the verge of breakthrough. The strategy of the Lotus Sutra involves seeing beyond apparent limitations to the essential reality. As Nichiren teaches, the strategy of the Lotus Sutra is to perceive the entity of life throughout the three existences of past, present, and future, and to discern the mystic workings of karma. This perception allows us to recognize that what seems impossible from our limited temporal perspective may be entirely possible from the viewpoint of the eternal mystic law. In practical terms, how do we apply this strategy? First, we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo with focused determination, directing our prayers toward specific goals while remaining open to how they might manifest. Second, we take action based on the wisdom that arises from our chanting, trusting our intuition even when it leads us in unexpected directions. Third, we persist through obstacles, viewing them not as signs of impossibility, but as opportunities to deepen our faith and practice. The interconnectedness of life means that our efforts to change impossibility to possibility never exist in isolation. Every time we challenge our limitations, we create a model for others. Every victory we achieve expands what others believe is possible for themselves. This is why Nichiren Buddhism emphasizes both personal practice and sharing with others. As one candle can light thousands of others without diminishing its own flame, our achievements can inspire countless others without limiting our own growth. Many people hesitate to share their practice with others because they feel they haven't accomplished enough themselves. But this misses a crucial point. By sharing, we strengthen our own practice. When we help others see possibilities in their lives, we reinforce our own belief in possibility. The act of encouragement is itself a practice of changing impossibility to possibility, both for the person being encouraged and for ourselves. Nichiren writes, "If you light a lamp for another, your own way will be lit." This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of Buddhist interconnectedness. Our efforts to illuminate the path for others inevitably brighten our own journey. This is why no effort for Kosen Rufu is ever wasted. Even when we don't see immediate results, our sincere efforts are creating causes that will bear fruit in time. The transformation from impossibility to possibility often happens gradually. Like the changing of seasons, it unfolds in its own time. We may not notice day-to-day changes, but looking back after months or years, we can see dramatic transformation. This is why patience and persistence are essential companions to our practice. As Nichiren says, regard both suffering and joy as facts of life, and continue chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo no matter what happens. This consistent practice creates what Buddhism calls inconspicuous benefit, positive changes that accumulate below the surface of awareness before manifesting visibly. Just as a farmer doesn't see the seeds sprouting beneath the soil, we may not immediately see the results of our chanting. But beneath the surface, profound changes are occurring, preparing the way for visible transformation. The ultimate goal of changing impossibility to possibility isn't just achieving external success. It's about revealing our Buddha nature, our true, unlimited self. When we overcome what seemed impossible, we catch a glimpse of who we really are beyond our limiting beliefs. This is why even seemingly small victories can bring such profound joy. They're not just achievements in themselves, but revelations of our deeper identity. Nichiren describes this identity in The Heritage of the Ultimate Law of Life. Abutsubo is therefore the Bodhisattva superior practices. The sutra passage that says the offspring of the Buddha's body refers to Abutsubo, and the passage that speaks of the heir of the Buddha's heart refers to the wife of Abutsubo. This passage reveals that ordinary people practicing the Lotus Sutra are in fact noble bodhisattvas, inheritors of the Buddha's legacy. When we recognize this heritage, impossibility begins to dissolve. As we conclude this exploration of changing impossibility to possibility through chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, let's return to Nichiren's powerful assurance. If you only chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, then what offense could fail to be eradicated? What blessing could fail to come? This is not mere encouragement. It's a challenge to test the teaching in our own lives, to prove its validity through our experience. The palace of happiness Nichiren speaks of isn't built somewhere in a distant future or faraway place. It's constructed day by day, chant by chant, action by action, right here in our ordinary lives. Each time we challenge what seems impossible, we add another stone to this palace. Each time we help another person see new possibilities, we create another window through which the light of hope can shine. Now is indeed the time to make these words a reality in our lives. The world needs people who can demonstrate that what seems impossible can become possible. People who can show through their own example that human potential is far greater than commonly believed. By mustering our courage to challenge the impossible, we not only transform our own lives, but contribute to the transformation of society and the world. This is the practice of Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. This is the heart of human revolution. This is the way we build that indestructible palace of happiness, not just for ourselves, but for all humanity.